Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're plunging into an excerpt from Forging History in Oceania's Records Department.
That's right.
Our mission, really, is to unpack the daily grind, someone working deep inside this chillingly bureaucratic system of information control.
And reveal how truth itself is basically manufactured and erased.
Yeah, rewritten constantly. Our source material is, well, it's incredibly vivid, really detailed. It gives you a stark look at the inner workings of this place, this organization dedicated to rewriting the past.
It really sets the stage. This isn't just a story, right? It's a profound look at how information, memory, even individual existence can be manipulated at scale.
Astonishing scale.
What's really fascinating here is the sheer audacity of it and the mechanical efficiency. It's chillingly effective.
Okay, let's unpack this then. We meet Winston, our protagonist, right at the start of his workday. Can you picture his cubicle? He pulls this thing called a speak right towards him. There are pneumatic tubes hissing, delivering messages, and crucially, these orifices in the wall. 3 of them.
Right, not just for messages, but one is different.
Exactly. One is large, oblong, easy to reach. They're nicknamed memory holes for a very specific reason.
And their function is terrifyingly simple, but incredibly effective. Instant disposal.
Anything you need.
Any document, you just drop it in. Whisked away on warm air currents to, well, unseen furnaces, no trace remains.
Gone.
It's designed for absolute immediate erasure, making it impossible for the past to ever, truly stick.
And that erasure system is key because what Winston's actually doing, it's much more chilling than just correcting typos, isn't it?
Absolutely.
He's performing what the party calls rectifications, following instructions from these messages. Like one might read, times 17.3.84 BB speech, malreported Africa rectify.
So he's literally in the business of correcting reality itself.
But how do they maintain the illusion? The source mentions the official narrative is always about correcting slips, errors, misprints, or misquotations to ensure accuracy.
All right, that's the facade, which raises a huge question. How does a system maintain that kind of front when its core function is, well, basically falsification on an industrial scale? How do they pull that off?
It's the ultimate paradox, isn't it? Because on the surface, yeah, it's all about accuracy. But underneath, you get these daily examples like Big Brother's speeches being malreported. He'd maybe predicted a Eurasian offensive in North Africa, but oops, that wasn't what happened. It was South India.
So Winston's job.
Rewrite the speech, make it seem like Big Brother predicted South India all along.
Always correct.
Always. Or another one, misprinted forecasts. Official output forecasts for, say, consumer goods that were grossly wrong.
So he had to.
Make them agree with the later actual figures, which of course were probably just as fabricated.
And it gets even more direct, more manipulative, doesn't it? Like the chocolate ration example.
Ah, yeah, that one's stark. The Ministry of Plenty issues this categorical pledge. No reduction in the chocolate ration.
But a reduction was coming.
Yeah.
From 30 grams down to 20.
So Winston's task, change that categorical pledge. Turn it into a sort of vague warning that a reduction would probably be necessary later.
Just like that. Resculpting promises, not just facts. It's insidious.
And the process itself sounds almost robotic, mechanical. Winston dictates corrections into the speakwrite, clips the new text to the rectified copy of the Times, shoves it into the pneumatic tube.
And then the crucial part.
Then he unconsciously, the text says, crumples the original message, his notes.
And drops them straight into the memory hole.
Automatic, so ingrained.
And if we zoom out from Winston's little cubicle, what this process really highlights isn't just changing single facts. It's the speed, the pervasiveness of it all.
Right.
It's this process of continuous alteration. And it's applied to pretty much every kind of literature or documentation which might conceivably hold any political or ideological significance.
Everything.
The past isn't just tweaked, it's constantly brought up to date, literally day by day and almost minute by minute.
Which must create this psychological state, right?
Exactly. It's a trap where all history was a palimpsest, scraped clean and reinscribed exactly as often as was necessary. The very idea of an original truth, or even an original mistake, just evaporates.
And like you said, this isn't just Winston. It's way bigger than his cubicle. It's a truly vast operation.
Oh, immense.
The source describes the records department as huge. Winston's section is just one subsection, a single cell. It's kind of mind-boggling, the scale needed to control all information.
It absolutely is. And think about the human resources,
Yeah.
all dedicated to fabrication. It shows the party's total commitment to controlling every scrap of reality.
You have specialists everywhere.
Right. People whose entire job is tracking down and destroying old documents. There's even this little woman with sandy hair mentioned.
Yeah.
Her whole job is just to track down and delete from the press the names of people who had been vaporized, erasing people from existence.
And there's Ampleforth.
Ampleforth, the dreamy creature. His task is to produce garbled versions, definitive versions, they call them, of poems that had become ideologically offensive, rewriting art.
And beyond the people, there's the infrastructure, massive infrastructure supporting all this.
We're talking huge printing shops, typography experts, studios for faking photographs.
Right. And a teleprogram section, engineers, producers.
Teams of actors who are skilled in imitating voices, faking audio evidence.
Plus armies of reference clerks, vast repositories for the corrected documents.
And those hidden furnaces we mentioned earlier, it's an entire industry of fabrication, operating nationally.
So who's running the show, this complex dance of lies?
That's a key question. The source mentions these directing brains, people who coordinated the whole effort and laid down the lines of policy.
Top-down control.
Clearly, a calculated top-down effort to control reality. I think about the bigger picture, the records department. It's just one branch of the Ministry of Truth.
Mini-lives, mini-packs, mini-plenty, mini-true.
Minitrue's primary job is supplying citizens with every conceivable kind of information, instruction, or entertainment. Everything. Newspapers, films, novels.
Covering all the bases.
For the multifarious needs of the party, yes, but also a whole separate lower level of content, specifically for the benefit of the proletariat.
An all-encompassing information diet. And what kind of stuff did they churn out for the proles?
Well, the source calls it rubbishy newspapers, mostly just sport, crime, and astrology.
Distraction.
Exactly. Plus sensational 5-cent novelettes, films oozing with sex, sentimental songs composed entirely by machine.
By machine.
Yeah, using something called a versificator, automated sentimentality. There's even a whole subsection, pornosec, just producing low-grade pornography.
Wow, so it's a completely manufactured reality right down to the cheap entertainment.
Pretty much, keeping people occupied and uninformed.
But maybe the most chilling part, the most profound realization, comes from Winston himself. As he starts to really grasp what he's doing.
What does he think?
He thinks it's not even forgery. That's not the right word. It's merely the substitution of one piece of nonsense for another.
Oh.
He realizes the material he works with has no connection with anything in the real world. None at all.
And that connects to what the source says about how everything faded away into a shadow world. A world where eventually even the date of the year had become uncertain.
The complete detachment.
Total detachment from objective reality, where statistics were just as much a fantasy in their original version as in their rectified version.
Yeah.
It's not just changing numbers, it's making numbers themselves meaningless, severing that last link to anything verifiable.
You really see this with that boot production example. It's perfect.
Remind me.
Okay, so the Ministry of Plenty forecasts output 145 million pairs of boots.
Ambitious.
Then the actual reported output is 62 million. Way off.
Right.
But Winston, doing his rectification, rewrites the original forecast, marks it down to 57 million.
So
So the party can claim the quota was actually overfulfilled. Look how great we did.
I see. Even though they produced less than half the original forecast.
And the truly staggering thought, as the source points out, maybe, very likely, no boots had been produced at all.
Wow.
It could all just be numbers on paper, a reality built entirely on a house of cards.
Which brings us, I think, to the most intricate and, frankly, chilling aspect of all this, the creation and erasure of unpersons.
Right, you get a message slip. Refs unpersons. What does that even mean?
It means someone's been vaporized, ceased to exist, and more than that, they're now considered never to have existed.
Wiped from history.
Completely. The entire individual is deleted, public memory, official records, everything.
And this leads us to the specific case mentioned, Comrade Withers.
Right. He was apparently a prominent inter-party member, even got praised by Big Brother himself at some point, high-flying.
But then, poof, his organization, the FFCC, is suddenly dissolved, which implies...
Plus his disgrace, his disappearance, vanished.
And the typical process wasn't dramatic public trials, usually.
No, those were rare, the showpieces. Mostly people simply disappeared and were never heard of again. No trial, no public denunciation. Just gone.
It's terrifying how easily someone could just cease to be. But the source doesn't really give us a definitive why they did this, does it? What do you think the party's strategic reason was, beyond just punishment?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
And Winston himself wonders about it. He speculates. Maybe it was corruption or incompetence.
Plausible.
Or Big Brother needing to get rid of a too popular subordinate,
Yeah.
political maneuvering.
Also plausible.
Or maybe heretical tendencies, thought crime.
Right.
But what strikes me is that ultimately the specific why almost doesn't matter as much as the act itself. The act is the message.
Matches.
The party's absolute control, retrospective control even, over individual existence. It's presented as just part of the mechanics of government. Not just punishment, but maintenance. If you stop serving the party's purpose...
Just stopped existing even in the past.
Exactly. You were erased from the historical record.
So Winston's immediate task, his big job for the day, is removing this now non-existent Comrade Witters from an old speech by Big Brother.
Right. Which presents a fascinating creative challenge.
How do you rewrite a speech praising someone who never existed? You can't just leave a hole.
You need filler, but not just any filler.
He needs, as the text says, a piece of pure fantasy. And that's when it hits him.
He invents someone.
He invents Comrade Ogilvy, a fictional heroic party member, someone who had recently died in battle in heroic circumstances. A perfect substitute.
And this is a key insight, isn't it? How the party uses these unpersons, these erasures, not just to eliminate dissent, but as an opportunity to create ideal figures, exemplary heroes to reinforce the ideology.
Right. Ogilvy replaces Withers.
Comrade Ogilvy, unimagined an hour ago, was now a fact. And Winston really goes to town creating this guy's backstory.
Oh, the detail is incredible. Almost disturbingly specific. You want to hear some of it?
Let's hear it.
Okay, so Comrade Ogilvy. At age 3, his only toys: a drum, a submachine gun, and a model helicopter.
Starting young?
Joined the spies at 6, troop leader by 9. At 11, brace yourself, he denounced his uncle to the thought police.
Wow. Family loyalty means nothing.
At 17, district organizer of the Junior Anti-Sex League. At 19, he designed a new type of hand grenade that apparently killed 31 Eurasian prisoners in one go.
Efficient. Brutal.
Died heroically at 23. Leapt from a helicopter, clutching important dispatches, choosing death over letting them fall into enemy hands.
The ultimate sacrifice.
And his purity is stressed. Total abstainer, non-smoker, daily gym sessions, took a vow of celibacy because marriage was incompatible with 24-hour-a-day devotion to duty.
Good grief.
And naturally, he only ever talked Ingsoc, the official language. Just imagine crafting a whole life like that, down to the toys. It's almost
absurd. If it weren't so terrifyingly effective. Yeah. It shows the lengths they go to. They don't just erase, they actively create reality from thin air.
Total fabrication.
And the chilling implication the source points out: you could create dead men, but not living ones. Which really makes you think, if history can be fabricated this thoroughly, how do we distinguish? How do we tell genuine historical figures from cleverly created narratives, especially when the original evidence is destroyed?
It really challenges how we view the past, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It forces you to question the sources of the stories we accept as true.
Because the source tells us, quite chillingly, that once this act of forgery was forgotten, Comrade Ogilvy would exist. He'd be real. Just as authentically and upon the same evidence as Charlemagne or Julius Caesar.
As real as anyone else in the history books.
So this deep dive, it's really shown us a world where the past is completely fluid. Facts are malleable, existence itself can be switched on or off retroactively, erased or even invented from scratch.
Yeah.
It's such a powerful reminder, isn't it? How easily information can be manipulated when there are no independent records, when the flow of information is totally controlled by one entity.
And looking at the broader picture, this kind of total information control creates that shadow world we talked about, where citizens are just adrift in a manufactured reality.
Disconnected.
It really encourages us, I think, to consider the immense power wielded by those who control information narratives. And maybe it leaves us with an important question for you, the listener.
Yeah.
If the party could conjure someone like Comrade Ogilvy out of literally nothing and make him seem just as real, just as historically valid as anyone, what does that tell you about the stories we're told, about the past we accept as fact? How do you verify the information you encounter day to day? And maybe what responsibility do we all share in trying to preserve an accurate account of the past?